Ladies and gentlemen, all right, let me hit you with something real. Have you ever felt like your life is just one big mess? Like you're constantly running around trying to catch up, but no matter how hard you try, there's always something slipping through the cracks? You forget appointments, lose important things, and by the time the day's over, you feel exhausted, but you still didn't get anything done. It sound familiar? Now let me ask you this. What if I told you the problem isn't your workload? It's not the number of tasks you have, and it's not that you're too busy. The real problem is lack of organization. See, when your life is cluttered, so is your mind. When your day has no structure, you waste time figuring out what to do instead of actually doing it. And let's be real, wasting time, that's the fastest way to stay stuck where you are. But here's the good news. You don't have to live like that. You don't have to wake up every day feeling overwhelmed. Staying organized daily is not about being perfect or controlling every little thing. It's about creating a system that makes your life easier. It's about making sure that when you wake up, you already know what you need to do. It's about setting yourself up for success instead of setting yourself up for stress. So today, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to give you the keys to staying organized every single day in a way that's simple, realistic, and actually works. And if you stick with me to the end, I guarantee you'll walk away with practical steps that will change how you operate forever. Are you ready? Let's get into it. If your surroundings are a mess, your mind will be too. This isn't just some saying, it's the absolute truth. Think about the last time you tried to focus on something important, but your space was cluttered. Maybe your desk was covered with papers, your phone kept buzzing with notifications, and there was just too much happening around you. How did that feel? Frustrating, right? Like your brain was pulled in 100 different directions. That's because clutter is not just physical, it's mental. The more disorganized your space is, the more chaotic your mind becomes. When you walk into a messy room, your brain automatically picks up on all the unfinished tasks around you. That pile of laundry, it reminds you that you haven't folded your clothes. The stack of unread emails, it screams at you about how behind you are. The random objects scattered all over your desk, they silently tell you that you don't have control over your own space. And whether you realize it or not, all of this drains your energy. It makes it harder to focus, harder to think clearly, and harder to get things done. Now here's the key. Organization isn't about being a neat freak. It's not about having a spotless home that looks like it came out of a magazine. It's about creating an environment that helps your mind function at its best. It's about removing distractions so you can put your energy where it really matters. Imagine sitting down to work at a clean, organized desk. Nothing unnecessary in your line of sight. Your workspace is set up exactly how you need it, and everything is in its place. Now, compare that to sitting at a desk covered with random papers, receipts, and yesterday's coffee cup. Which scenario makes you feel more focused? Which one gives you a sense of clarity? It's obvious when your space is clean, your mind is free to work without distractions. But this doesn't just apply to physical spaces. Your digital world matters just as much. If your phone is overloaded with notifications, if your email inbox has thousands of unread messages, if your computer desktop is a jungle of random files, guess what? That's digital clutter. And it weighs on your mind just like physical clutter does. Every time you see all those unread emails, you feel like you're behind. Every time you open your phone to do one thing, but end up scrolling for 20 minutes, you lose control of your time. So what's the solution? Start simple. Pick one area of your life that feels messy. Maybe it's your desk, maybe it's your phone, maybe it's your schedule. Dedicate just 10 minutes a day to cleaning it up. Throw away what you don't need. Put things in their rightful places. Unsubscribe from emails you never read. Delete the apps that waste your time. Small steps like these may seem minor, but over time they create a massive difference. And here's something powerful. The way you treat your space is a reflection of how you treat your life. If your environment is constantly messy, chances are other parts of your life feel out of control too. But when you take charge of your surroundings, something shifts in your mindset. You start feeling more in control, more confident, and more capable of handling your responsibility. Think about successful people. Do you think they operate in chaos? No. They create systems that help them function at their best. They make sure their environment supports their goals, not works against them. You have that same power. You don't have to live in a constant state of disorganization and distraction. You can take control. You can clear out the clutter, both physically and mentally, and make room for what truly matters. The truth is, clutter steals from you. It steals your time, your energy, and your focus. But the good news, you can take it all back. You can decide right now that you're going to create a space that works for you instead of against you. You can choose to organize your surroundings so that your mind has the freedom to think, create, and succeed, because when you clear the mess, you clear the stress. And that's when you can really start making moves. A daily plan is not just a to-do list. It's a blueprint for success. When you wake up in the morning without a plan, you leave your entire day up to chance. You let distractions, unexpected problems, and other people's priorities take over your time. Before you know it, the day is gone, and you're left wondering where all those hours went. But when you take control of your schedule, when you set clear priorities for your day, you put yourself in a position to win. Think about it. When you get in a car, you don't just start driving without knowing where you're going. You either have a destination in mind or you use a GPS to guide you. If you just drive aimlessly, you'll waste time, gas, and energy, and you'll probably end up lost. The same thing happens with your day. If you wake up without a clear direction, you'll drift. You'll get caught up in things that don't matter. You'll react to whatever comes your way instead of taking control. Having a daily plan doesn't mean every minute of your day needs to be scheduled. It doesn't mean you have to be rigid or robotic. It simply means you know what your priorities are and you set yourself up to accomplish them. A plan keeps you from wasting time on things that don't matter. It keeps you from getting to the end of the day with nothing to show for it. It keeps you focused. Now, let's get real. How many times have you said, I'll get to it later, only to realize later never comes? How many times have you had big goals, but you let distractions and procrastination push them further and further away? That happens when you don't set clear intentions for your day. If you don't schedule what matters, you'll always find an excuse to put it off. One of the best ways to take control of your day is to plan it before it starts. Don't wake up and try to figure it out in the moment. Decide the night before. Take a few minutes in the evening to list the top things you need to accomplish the next day. Not 10 things, not 20 things, just 3 to 5 things that are truly important. That way, when you wake up, you already know what your focus should be. You don't waste time trying to figure it out, and you don't get sidetracked by things that don't matter. Another key to a solid daily plan is knowing when you are most productive. Some people are sharpest in the morning, while others do their best thinking in the afternoon or evening. Pay attention to your energy levels and schedule your most important work during your peak hours. Don't waste your best energy on things that don't move you forward. And let's talk about distractions. No matter how well you plan, things will come up. You'll get unexpected emails, calls, and interruptions that try to pull you off track. But here's the thing. Just because something is urgent doesn't mean it's important. You have to learn to protect your time. If something can wait, let it wait. If it's not aligned with your goals for the day, don't let it steal your focus. Sticking to a daily plan takes discipline, it takes commitment, but it also gives you freedom. When you know what you need to do, you don't waste energy trying to figure it out. When you stay focused on what matters, you end the day with a sense of accomplishment instead of frustration. Success doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you are intentional. It happens when you take control of your time instead of letting it control you. It happens when you stop hoping things will get done and start making sure they get done. So don't leave your day up to chance. Have a plan, make your time count, and watch how much more you achieve. Your environment has a direct impact on your ability to stay organized and focused. If you're constantly surrounded by clutter, physical, mental, or digital, it becomes incredibly difficult to stay on track and get things done. Organization isn't just about keeping things neat. It's about creating a space that supports your productivity and helps you move through your day with ease. If you feel overwhelmed, stressed, or scattered, it's time to take a good look at your surroundings and make some changes. Start with your physical space. Look at your desk, your workspace, your home, wherever you spend most of your time. Is it clean and organized, or is it full of distractions? A cluttered space leads to a cluttered mind. When you have piles of papers, random objects, and unnecessary things crowding your area, your brain has to work harder to filter through the mess. That means every time you sit down to work, you're already battling unnecessary distraction. You waste time searching for things. You feel more stressed without even realizing why. But when your space is clear, your mind is clear, you can sit down and get straight to work instead of wasting time sorting through the mess. Now, don't get overwhelmed thinking you have to transform everything overnight. Just start small. Take 5 minutes to clean up your desk. Throw away things you don't need. Organize the important stuff so it's easy to find. A little effort goes a long way. And once you start seeing the benefits of an organized space, you want to keep it that way. Your digital space matters just as much. A messy desktop, a cluttered inbox, or a phone full of notifications can be just as distracting as a messy room. If you're constantly scrolling through emails, getting bombarded with social media updates, or struggling to find files because everything is buried in random folders, you're losing valuable time and energy. Take control. Clean up your email by unsubscribing from junk. You organize your files so they're easy to access. Set specific times to check your messages instead of letting them interrupt you all day. Small changes like these can save you hours of wasted time every week. Mental clutter is another huge obstacle to staying organized. When your mind is overloaded with thoughts, worries, and to-do lists, it's hard to focus. You might sit down to work, but your brain is running in 100 different directions. That's why it's important to get things out of your head and into a system. Write things down. Make a list. Use a planner or a notes app, whatever works for you. The key is to stop relying on memory for everything. When you free up mental space, you can focus on the task at hand instead of stressing about what you might be forgetting. Another powerful way to eliminate mental clutter is to set clear priorities. If you don't know what matters most, you'll spend your time jumping from one thing to the next without making real progress. At the start of each day, ask yourself, what are the most important things I need to get done today? Focus on those first. Don't let smaller, less important tasks steal your attention. When you tackle what truly matters, you feel more accomplished and in control. Distractions are another big part of what keeps us disorganized. You can have the neatest workspace in the world, but if you're constantly getting interrupted, you won't get anything done. Be intentional about creating a focused environment. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Set boundaries with people around you. If you need quiet time to work, make it clear. You have to protect your time if you want to stay organized and productive. Finally, staying organized is not a one-time thing, it's a habit. You have to be consistent. If you clean up your workspace once, but let it get messy again, you're back to square one. If you organize your emails, but stop managing them, they'll pile up again. The key is to build routines that keep you on track. Set aside time each day or week to tidy up your space, sort your tasks, and refocus. Staying organized isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. When you take control of your space, your mind, and your time, you set yourself up for success. You eliminate stress, save time, and create an environment that helps you thrive. It's not about doing more, it's about doing things better. Get rid of the clutter, remove distractions, and build habits that support your goals. When you do that, staying organized becomes easy and success becomes inevitable. Staying organized every day isn't just about cleaning up your space or making a to-do list. It's about having a system that keeps you on track. If you don't have a daily system, you're setting yourself up for stress, missed deadlines, and last-minute scrambling. Organization isn't something you do once and forget about. It's something you practice every day. A good system makes your life easier because it removes guesswork. You don't have to waste time figuring out what to do next or trying to remember important things. Everything has a place and everything has a process. That's how you stay on top of things instead of constantly playing catch up. The first step to creating a strong system is knowing your priorities. If you wake up every morning without a plan, you're already behind. Your day gets filled with distractions, and before you know it, the important things don't get done. That's why you need a structured way to plan your time. Some people like using a planner, others prefer digital calendars or apps. It doesn't matter which tool you use as long as you have a clear way to lay out your day. The key is to plan ahead. Before you go to bed, take a few minutes to write down your top priorities for the next day. This simple habit can transform your productivity because it removes the need to figure things out in the moment. You wake up knowing exactly what needs to be done, and you can get started without hesitation. A good system also includes routines. Routines take the stress out of decision-making because they turn important tasks into habits. Instead of wasting energy deciding when to do something, you just do it automatically. For example, if you always check emails at a set time, you don't have to think about when to do it. If you always review your schedule in the morning, it becomes second nature. This kind of structure prevents chaos. It keeps you in control of your day instead of letting your day control you. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to stay organized is because they don't have a set process for handling tasks. They write things down in different places, start but don't finish projects, and let small tasks pile up until they become overwhelming. If that sounds familiar, it's time to streamline your workflow. A simple rule to follow is, if something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Don't add it to a list. Don't tell yourself you'll do it later. Just handle it on the spot. Whether it's replying to a quick email, putting something back where it belongs, or checking an appointment, these small actions add up. They prevent tasks from piling up and keep your system running smoothly. For bigger tasks, you need a structured way to keep track of progress. A great way to do this is by using a central system for all your tasks and notes. This could be a project management tool, a planner, or even a simple notebook. The important thing is that everything is in one place. If you're constantly writing things down on random sticky notes or keeping mental lists, you'll forget things. A good system eliminates that problem by giving you one reliable place to track everything. Staying organized also means setting up checkpoints throughout the day. Just because you planned your day in the morning doesn't mean things won't change. Unexpected things come up, tasks take longer than expected, and sometimes priorities shift. That's why you need moments to pause and adjust. A midday check-in can help you stay on track. Take a few minutes to review your progress, make any necessary changes, and refocus. This prevents you from getting lost in distractions or letting the day slip away without accomplishing your key goals. Another important part of your system is how you end your day. A strong closing routine helps you reset and prepare for the next day. This could mean organizing your workspace, reviewing what you accomplished, or updating your to-do list. The point is to end each day with a sense of completion so you don't carry unfinished tasks into the next morning. When you wrap up your day properly, you wake up feeling more in control and ready to start fresh. Finally, your system has to be flexible. Life isn't predictable, and no system is perfect. Some days will be chaotic, no matter how well you plan. The key is to adapt without losing momentum. If something unexpected happens, adjust your priorities and keep moving forward. A good system doesn't lock you into a rigid schedule. It gives you a framework to stay focused even when things change. When you have a reliable system in place, staying organized becomes second nature. You don't have to constantly remind yourself to be productive because everything flows naturally. You're not scrambling to keep up. You're ahead of the game. This kind of structure reduces stress, saves time, and helps you accomplish more with less effort. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter with the right system. Staying organized every day stops being a struggle and starts being a habit that leads to long-term success. Staying organized every day means learning how to manage distractions. No matter how well you plan, if you constantly let yourself get pulled away from what matters, you'll never stay on track. The biggest challenge isn't always a lack of time, it's a lack of focus. Distractions are everywhere, and if you don't control them, they will control you. Whether it's your phone, social media, unnecessary tasks, or people constantly interrupting you, distractions steal your energy, waste your time, and leave you feeling overwhelmed. If you want to stay organized and get things done, you have to take charge of your environment and your habits. The first step to managing distractions is recognizing what they are. Most people don't even realize how much time they lose to little interruptions throughout the day. A quick look at your phone turns into 30 minutes of scrolling. A short conversation at work turns into an hour of gossip. Checking emails once in a while turns into responding to every single notification the moment it pops up. These small moments might not seem like a big deal, but they add up. Before you know it, half the day is gone, and you haven't made any real progress on your most important tasks. That's why you need to identify what pulls you away from your work and put strategies in place to block those distractions. One of the biggest culprits is technology. Your phone, laptop, and even TV can become major obstacles if you're not careful. The easiest way to control this is by setting boundaries. Turn off notifications when you need to focus. If you don't need your phone for work, put it in another room. Use apps that block distractions like social media or unnecessary websites during work hours. If you work from home, consider having a separate space where you do nothing but productive tasks. When you create a dedicated environment for work, your brain starts to associate that space with focus. It helps you get into the right mindset and reduces the urge to check distraction. Another major distraction is people. It's great to be social, but if you let every conversation, phone call, or unexpected request take over your day, you'll never get anything done. You have to learn to set boundaries with others. If you're working, let people know you're unavailable during certain hours. If someone tries to interrupt you, politely let them know you'll talk later. Ha ha. You don't have to be rude, but you do have to be firm. People will respect your time if you respect it first. This also applies to meetings. So many meetings could be emails. If a meeting isn't absolutely necessary, suggest a quicker way to handle it. Your time is valuable. Treat it that way. Another powerful way to manage distractions is by having a structured schedule. When you plan your day, you're less likely to waste time because you already know what needs to be done. The best way to do this is by time blocking. This means setting specific time slots for different tasks. If you know you have 2 hours to complete an important project, you'll be more focused during that time. You won't let yourself get pulled away by unimportant things because you've already committed that time to something meaningful. This works for everything: emails, phone calls, lunch breaks, and even social media. When you schedule distractions, they stop being distractions. They become controlled parts of your day instead of something that takes over. A common mistake people make is thinking they need to be available 24/7. In today's world, people expect instant replies to emails, texts, and calls. But just because someone reaches out to you doesn't mean you have to respond immediately. If you're always reacting to messages, you're not in control of your time. Someone else is. A good rule to follow is to check emails and messages at set times. Instead of replying to every notification the moment it appears, set aside specific times during the day to go through them. This allows you to stay focused on what truly matters without constantly getting sidetracked. Another way to reduce distractions is by improving your focus. The stronger your focus, the less likely you are to be pulled away by little things. One way to do this is by practicing deep work. Deep work means working on one task at a time without interruptions. It means no checking your phone, no multitasking, and no distractions. When you fully commit to a task, you get it done faster and at a higher quality. Studies have shown that multitasking actually makes you less productive. It takes your brain time to switch between tasks. And every time you get distracted, it takes even longer to regain focus. Instead of trying to do everything at once, focus on one thing at a time and give it your full attention. Your environment also plays a big role in minimizing distractions. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will be too. A messy desk, noisy surroundings, or an uncomfortable setup can all make it harder to concentrate. Take a few minutes each day to tidy up your space. Get rid of anything that doesn't need to be there. If noise is an issue, use noise-canceling headphones or play background music that helps you focus. Small changes in your environment can have a huge impact on your ability to stay organized and productive. At the end of the day, managing distractions is all about discipline. It's about choosing what deserves your attention and blocking out what doesn't. It's about making conscious decisions to protect your time instead of letting it slip away. You don't have to be perfect. Everyone gets distracted sometimes, but the more you practice staying focused, the easier it gets. The more control you have over your distractions, the more organized and productive you become. And when you master this, you'll be amazed at how much more you can accomplish in a day. Staying organized daily is not just about cleaning up your space or making a to-do list. It's about developing the right mindset and habits that keep you on track no matter what life throws at you. One of the biggest keys to staying organized is consistency. You can't expect to be organized one day and then let everything fall apart the next. Organization is a habit, not a one-time event. You have to commit to it every single day, no matter how busy you are. That means setting up routines, following through on them, and making adjustments when necessary. Most people struggle with consistency because they rely too much on motivation. They wait until they feel like getting organized, and when that feeling fades, they go right back to their old ways. But if you want to stay organized daily, you can't depend on motivation. You have to depend on discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It means sticking to your plan even when distractions are tempting you. The best way to build discipline is by creating habits that become second nature. When something becomes a habit, you don't have to think about it, you just do it. The first step to building consistency is setting clear expectations for yourself. If you don't know what staying organized looks like for you, it's easy to fall off track. Take a moment to define what being organized means in your life. Does it mean planning your day every morning, keeping your workspace clean, following a schedule, managing your time wisely? Once you have a clear idea of what you need to do, it's much easier to stay consistent. One of the most effective ways to stay organized daily is by creating a solid morning routine. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up late, rush through your morning, and jump straight into work with no plan, you'll feel scattered all day. But if you take time in the morning to organize your thoughts, set your priorities, and prepare yourself, you'll feel in control. A good morning routine doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as reviewing your schedule, making a list of top tasks, and tidying up your space before starting work. The key is to make it a habit so that it becomes automatic. Another important part of consistency is tracking your progress. If you don't keep track of what you're doing, you won't know if you're improving. A simple way to do this is by using a planner, a journal, or even a checklist. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review what you accomplished. Did you stick to your schedule? Did you complete your most important tasks? Did you manage your time well? Reflecting on your progress helps you stay accountable and make adjustments when needed. It's also important to keep your system simple. A lot of people overcomplicate organization with fancy apps, complicated planners, and overwhelming systems. The truth is, the simpler your system, the easier it is to stick with it. Find a method that works for you and keep it straightforward. If writing things down in a notebook works, do that. If using a digital planner helps, use it. The goal is to create a system you can maintain daily without feeling overwhelmed. Another key to consistency is learning to bounce back quickly. No matter how disciplined you are, there will be days when things don't go as planned. Maybe an unexpected event throws off your schedule, or you get distracted and lose focus. The key is not to let one bad day turn into a bad week or a bad month. When you mess up, don't dwell on it, just get back on track as soon as possible. A lot of people give up on staying organized because they feel like but the truth is, failure only happens when you stop trying. As long as you keep going, you're still in the game. One of the biggest challenges to staying consistent is dealing with distractions. Life is full of unexpected interruptions, and if you don't have a plan to handle them, they will knock you off track. The best way to deal with distractions is by setting boundaries. Let people know when you're working and when you're available. Turn off notifications when you need to focus. Schedule time for breaks so that you don't feel the need to constantly check your phone or email. The more control you have over your time, the easier it is to stay consistent. Consistency also requires staying motivated, and one of the best ways to stay motivated is by reminding yourself why staying organized matters. Think about the benefits: less stress, more productivity, better time management, and a sense of control over your life. When you have a clear reason for staying organized, it's easier to stay committed. If you ever feel like giving up, remind yourself why you started in the first place. At the end of the day, staying organized daily is all about making small, intentional choices over and over again. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about choosing to plan instead of winging it, choosing to stay on track instead of giving in to distractions, and choosing to keep going even when it gets tough. When you build the habit of consistency, staying organized stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a natural part of your life. And once you master that, you'll be unstoppable.